Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox. Today, we have another episode of Vintage Charm at 60plus.com. You know, I have to get that .com in there because if you use that as the address to my website, vintage charm at 60plus.com, 60, which is 60, it will take you to my actual website, which is the Cynthia Lennox Show. But when I say vintage charm at 60 plus, I like to add that .com. I am glad that you have joined me again today. Remember, we have a date every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, either on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. You can catch us every Thursday. This is a once a week show. And for now, that's what works for me, just because I like to be able, well, not only do I have other engagements throughout the week, but I like to be able to plan things and have the freedom to do and so forth. So right now, this is what I do once a week, every Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you don't pick it up on either YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, you can always stream it at any time because it will be posted on those sites for a long time. I guess they stay up there. So, anyway, it's good to have you today. Yesterday, I had a fantastic day. My friend and I went out. You know, we planned this, and well, when I say plan, it was almost spontaneous. And she said, well, you pick where we're going to go. And so I picked this huge entertainment venue that there is in a nearby city, and we went there to just really have a great time. It's like an adult playground, a family friendly playground, but there are things for adults as well. There's, nice restaurants, nice bars. They have this big building with games for the kids, for the children, with the fast cars and the motorcycle, the simulated motorcycle and so forth. So it's just a fun place to be. So we went there and got on motorcycles, the simulated one, obviously, and just really had a terrific time. Then we wound up eating at this place that I like. We kind of did a light thing, a charcuterie board with the cheese and the cold cuts and olives and all that. It was very good. It was very delicious. And then when we were done with that, of course, we had a glass of wine to celebrate each other, celebrate the time, celebrate life, and so forth. That social thing. And then toward the end, we ordered the cookies. They bring this tray of three big cookies, a chocolate chip, a macadamia, and I think one is snickerdoodle or sugar cookie, something like that. It was delicious, and we ate it all unapologetically. I like to go out with folks that are not, oh, this is too fattening, this is has too many calories, and don't. No, I had none of that. We just enjoy the moment because it's not something that we do every day. I'm one that I like my fruits and vegetable and so forth. But when I go out, when I look at the menu, I determine what I'm gonna have based on what's for dessert, because there's always room for dessert. And if I don't like it, then I don't order dessert. But anyway, so we did that yesterday and it was great. So we spent a great deal of time in the restaurant, and because we went early, first of all, the whole playground, well, the whole place was um empty. When I say empty, I mean not busy, because on the weekend, lots of families, they have a band and they have a concert place where the band plays, and there's a grass. People bring their blankets and their chairs, and they're there with their kids enjoying the time and so forth. And then outside there's a Ferris wheel, and anyway, it's like a big playground for adults and kids. And once we were done eating, again, we stayed in the restaurant for, I don't know, 2 3 hours, whatever. There was no problem because it wasn't full. So we were good. We had a great waitress, and she was just very attentive and so forth. So when we were done with that, we went outside, and before leaving, we just sat out there by the garden place and so forth, and we had this conversation, and we were talking about the kids today, and how things are so different. We were talking about kids that are from the ages of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and how things have changed, and the things they're exposed to, and how we have to protect them and so forth. And then we got to talking about puberty and so forth. And of course, she's we're talking about the things that we know about. And so we had two totally different opinions when it came to the way we view things and how we should address situations with the kids, that are going through puberty and going from that 11, 12 into uh, young adult, so forth. And my friend, her position on things was totally, totally opposite to mine. Well, I don't want to say opposite because it wasn't that. It was different. It was different because opposite would imply right or wrong. No, it was not neither right or wrong, good or bad. It was a totally different position that she took when it came to what she would do with the kids. What kind of information she would explain and what position she would take, and the way she perceived things and the way I perceived things was totally, totally different. And it was a great conversation we had. It wasn't planned, but we were just saying, how things have changed and how we are enjoying this season of our lives, and then making reference to the younger generation and the challenges that they have to go through, which did not correspond to us as we were growing up. And again, it wasn't a matter of good or bad, right or wrong, or we didn't even agree to disagree, because that was not even the point. I was not trying to impose my perception on her, and she was not trying to impose her perception on me, but I was determined, in my perception, because it has become part of me, and that won't change. In my mind, it's updated, and it's relevant, and it's current. And in her mind, her perception was right for her. I respected that, and she respected mine, and that was it. Neither one of us bent our way of thinking to modify it, to placate the other one, or try to water it down to conform to the other person's perception. I didn't do it, and she didn't do it. And that was great, because this way it tells me that my perception is part of me. That is my perception, and I honored my perception on the matter. I gave respect to my perception on the matter, and so did she. It was just a beautiful exchange. There was no trying to convince each other why we believe what we believed. It didn't matter. It didn't matter why we believed. Now, what I believed did not apply to her, or and vice versa. Now I say this. I start thinking about perception and life itself. And the more I think about it, life really is about perception. We all have our individual perception about everything in life, spiritually, financially, psychologically, mentally, physically. We all have a perception about ourselves. Now, do we honor that perception, or do we live on automatic pilot by the perception of someone else? There was a time that I did that. There was a time that when my level of awareness wasn't as it is now, because I have elevated my thinking to a higher consciousness, and implemented critical thinking in my life, where I question everything and I challenge things. And yeah, and until I come to my own personal views, my position on things, my perception, I'm not going to buy what anyone tells me. I don't care who it is. I don't care how close you are to me. If I cannot, if I do not, and I allow myself, and again, no judgment, no judgment. You cannot judge yourself, and you cannot judge some, and you should not judge someone else, because everyone is entitled to that. Otherwise, why do you have a brain? And if you're going through life on autopilot, living by the perception of others, living by outside information, things that people have told you, things you have learned, whether it's in school or at church, whatever, if you're going through pilot, living your life based on that information, if you have not gone through a journey of self discovery to know what works for you and what is right for you and your views, and start honoring and respecting your views, your ideas, your position, your intentions, if you are going through life not honoring that, then that is probably the reason your life is not working out the way you want it to work out. Because when I when I come up with my own ideas, my perception, how I see things for me, for my life, not for you, I will never tell you to do things this way, because I know the value and the power and the worth of you. And because I know that, of course, I know my own worth. Because I know that for me as well, I want you to dig into your own treasure, your own mind, and exercise critical thinking and challenge the things that you believe, no matter what it is, no matter who it comes from. Because if it doesn't come from you, it's not your truth. If it doesn't come from you, it is not your truth. You're living somebody else's truth. And at this stage of our lives, we're on the second half, that vintage charm at 60 plus, we're in the second half of our lives. The first half, we spent the first half learning things, gaining knowledge, understanding, making mistakes, and so forth. I don't say failure, I say just making mistakes because you learn from them. We did all that in the first half. This second half is to have fun. We know better. This second half is to have fun, is to enjoy life, to get pleasure out of the things we do, to have meaningful relationships, to do the things we like, the things that gives us pleasure, the things we enjoy. And we ought to do that without judgment, without judging ourselves, and really live a life unapologetically. Don't make excuses, defend it, pretend. No, none of that. It's the time to enjoy life. Now, to enjoy this new season, to enjoy this new season, most of us would have to change the way we think. And if you subscribe to that phrase that says you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's not true. I'm telling you that right now, because you can make the changes in your life right now. If you have a sound mind, if you can think for yourself, you can make the changes for your life right now and start living the life that you desire. A life of fun, having meaningful relationships, a life that's fulfilled, full of joy, and you have peace and the freedom to just be your true, genuine, real, and authentic self. Absolutely. That's what life is all about. We are here. We are here to live, to have a human experience, to have a human experience. And most of you deny your humanity. A lot of people denied their humanity, deny this, deny that, there's spiritual, there's your soul, there's your ego, they're all yours. Don't judge. There was a whole thing on social media about the ego and people just bashing the ego. Well, let me tell you, we all have egos. It's not a matter of good or bad, right or wrong. You are who you are, and you've got to embrace that. As long as whatever you do does not infringe on the freedom of another person, you are free to just be who you are. Just be. When you arrive at a place of just being, that's just the place to be. That's just the place to be. That's how you get to enjoy the moment, to enjoy your life without judgment, without shame, without blame, without condemnation, without guilt, but to enjoy your life based on what you perceive it should be. Perception is a big thing, my friend. And you've got to acknowledge, you've got to know that you have your own perception about life, about your life in every area. And if you're not cognizant of that, if you have not come into the awareness that you are, living a life that, based on somebody else's perception, then it really is living a life on autopilot. And if you want to change that, you are able to change that. Of course, most people that in your circle, they may not like the change version of you because sometimes it presents a challenge to them, but it doesn't matter. It is your life. It is your life, and it should be your decision to pause and take inventory of your life. And if it's not working out the way you want, if it's not working out the way you desire, then you need to make some changes. But the point is, you look, the things that I learned, the things that I learned in that first half of my life, uh, unless it resonates with me now, I'm telling you, I went through a wash. I went through a mental wash, remove all that debris of old tradition and conventional thinking and status quo. And that's the way it's always been done. And that's the way we do it. And I remove all of that. Unless it's something that resonates with me and works for me today, I got rid of it and reprogram my whole thinking. My whole mindset is brand spanking new. I like new, brand spanking new, and I keep updating that program every time. You see, like on your phone, every time there's an update, and I look for it. It never surprises me because I look for it every time there's an update. I update it right away. Why? Because I want it to be current and relevant. And you should do the same thing too. I do it on my phone and I do it in my mind. Upgrade your thinking. I do it first for my life. And that's why when I look at situations, when I look at kids and you see their behavior and so forth, sometimes you understand because it's a whole different dynamics today. It's a whole different dynamics. And you've got to pay attention. If you don't pay attention, I'm telling you, your life is on autopilot. That's why when somebody attempts to, or when somebody puts themselves in a position to teach you something, you must challenge everything, question everything. And if it doesn't work for you, then it's not your truth. If it doesn't work, it has to work based on the perception of what you believe your life or what your life should be like. I think that my life should be that I should have a great life. I think that I should have a great life. I think that my life should be fun and pleasure and joy and have good relationships and things work well. Now, life happens to all of us. And what do we do then? We deal with that situation. We go into problem resolution and we solve the problem. Why? Because we're equipped. We are able to solve problems. That problem resolution always kicks in whenever there is something. You just kick into that. And when I was in corporate America, I loved that. I remember my employees with a customer or something, and they would call me, and the customers would know that when I come out, the buck stops here. You're not going to ask for someone higher than me. This is my area. I'm the manager here, and the buck stops here. And whatever decision I make, that's it. And if you don't like it, then you're going to have to, go home, write an email, and go to consumer relations and so forth. In the meantime, the buck stops here. Absolutely. You have to know you are in charge. And likewise, you are in charge of your own life. And if you're living it based on information from someone else's perception, because that's what it is. If you're learning something that's well outdated, or that comes from outside in, it's not yours, my friend. That is not your truth. Your truth resides on the inside, and that's where you need to extract it from. You have to get it out from your own inner being. First of all, you have to trust yourself. You have to know that you are it, that you are equipped with knowledge and understanding. We just don't pay attention to that. We go looking at all stuff, seminars and conventions and workshops and this and that. Now, unless it's something for a business or a job, I can understand that. Expertise. I can. I need expertise in a lot of situations for my own business from people. But when it comes to like your personal worth and value, and the way you conduct your life, the knowledge that you're bringing in that would shape your life, the way you think, the way you live, the way you behave, and consequently the way you experience life, that's on you. That is totally on you. And unless you are really uh exercising your awareness, now that you are hearing this, now that you are hearing this is information that will get you thinking. What do I think this way? That's why when somebody comes to me, or when I hear some kind of conspiracy theory, nobody can come to me with that. I mean, that's for them. Whoever have these conspiracy theories about different things, whether it's whatever it is, that's for you. But if you notice, people try to put that upon you. They try to convince you, to make you believe the way they believe. Yeah. When COVID was there, you have the anti-vaxxers and those that believe in whatever. I did not get in the middle of any of them. I made the decision based on the perception I had, or I have, about the situation. I made that decision for my life, not influenced by the doctor or the anti-vaxxers or anything at all. I made that decision for myself unapologetically. I didn't listen to any. So whether it was good or bad, right or wrong, which it is not, that is my decision, and I was good with it. I was good with it. You can't influence me by just all this chatter about stuff. No, I am well aware. And when you reach that level of consciousness and start trusting yourself, the ability to think critically and believe that sometimes people say, well, I don't know if it's me, or I don't know if it's this, or I don't know if it's that. No, why would you not? Learn your own mind, your voice, your higher self. Learn to recognize your intuition, the voice of your intuition. Learn to recognize its voice, and feel the peace that it brings when you have to make a decision about something. Again, it's not a matter of right or wrong, good or bad. You make a decision. And I find that when I make a decision, that becomes my truth. And I can live by it. I can live by it. I don't have to, no regrets, no guilt, no condemnation. No, I can live by it. And I've been doing that for a long time. I, that's the way I conduct my life in every area. In every area. That's why I like to, even though I enjoy those social moments with my friends, and that's because we get to share in meaningful, conversations and things and so forth. But my greatest joy is sitting with myself, sitting alone, in the quiet of my own presence, and getting with my thoughts, and just really unpacking things the way I perceive them. And it's such a joy because that's mine. No one can take that away from me. And I encourage you to do the same, to trust yourself, to honor your perception, to respect your perception. Otherwise, you will always be looking for things from the outside, and believe what people tell you. And then again, it comes from someone else. I remember when there are a lot of books, and I respect authors and so forth, but there are a lot of books, but I there was a time where I, like, you know what? No, I'm gonna put that aside and pick it up later. Why? Because I was going through a period where I was, as I call it, a journey of self-discovery. And I wanted things to be pure and authentic. I wanted it to emerge from me. And it's interesting because I went through a period for a long time, and I'm still evolving. I am still evolving. And some of the things that I got, in my intuition and the way I start seeing things, when I would go back and read a book, sometimes it would be the same point of view. And then it would make me happy because I'm like, oh, okay, I got that from me. I didn't get that from that person. That is my truth. That's like saying you may hear something from the outside. Now, if it resonates with you, then that's fine. But if you question it, if it challenges your life, then you need to challenge the veracity of it. You need to question it and not be afraid to question it. Anything, you question it, and you form a perception. Perception is the way you see things, is the way you unpack things, is the way things unfold based on things you have seen or experienced or heard of. Is your mind. It's like a flower, whatever it is that you're thinking of, and it just opens and blooms and brings truth into your consciousness. And in most cases you can identify it because it resonates. It's like, yeah, they said that, but this is the way I see it. Then that's what you follow. You follow what you believe, not believe what you know. That's another thing that I've learned. When I learn something, it becomes a knowing, not a believing. Because again, belief comes from outside. You're not sure. It's like, I believe so. I think so. I believe. No. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Why? Because it's your truth. It's your perception. And you've got to trust that in this new season, you're gonna need that. You are going to need that because you're going to be faced with situations. And sometimes, when I started this episode of Vintage Charm at 60 plus, I said that I was prompted to start it because, you know, most of you know that I'm a transformational life coach, and I coach people, with their lives and hoping to take them to another level, to transform the thoughts, the thinking that have been formed in their mind, to transfer it to another level, to transform their thinking to another level. And it's, I cannot even describe how people are so stressed out and depressed and anxious and fearful and worried, and all this thing about ageism. That's how I got started with this, because like, wait a minute, no, 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 no. You don't live your life by the age you are. And this thing about retirement, I said, you don't retire, you refire. And don't wait for someone to tell you or give you an age to retire. You retire now. I don't care how old you are. You retire now. Now you may remain at work if you need to work. You may remain there, but you can refire your life at any age. Whether you're 50, 55, 6, whatever, you refire your thinking. And whether it's to start a new hobby or a new business, you this is the second half. And we live this half in season, not by how old you are. In season. This is a new season that will require new thinking, a new mindset, a new set of thoughts. You're going to have to kick it up to live a vibrant, meaningful, fulfilled life. Now, not tomorrow, not next, no, but now, to live in the moment, to enjoy being, to enjoy your human experience now. If you're living for the afterlife, that's all an illusion, because if you are honest with yourself, you have no idea of an afterlife at all, other than information that's been brought to your mind. So you have to enjoy life now and do whatever it is that brings you joy, brings you pleasure. And by the same token, you give that out. You emit joy and kindness and compassion and goodness toward others. And depending on what your life is now, if you are a person that's single, divorced, unpartnered, whatever, if you are looking to partner with someone, then think in terms of this. Don't think in terms of I need a partner, or I'm looking for someone, or I need to find me a mate. No, 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 no. If you are the carrier of the love, if you're the carrier of the kindness, compassion, and all of that, then you need to put yourself in a position where you will attract that. Do the things you like now, and even if it's alone, yeah, do the things you like now. If it's taking yourself to a nice restaurant and sitting there and enjoying a good meal, you do that now. You do that now. If it's getting on a plane and flying off to Dubai on your own, then you do that now. Start doing the things that you like, bold and vivacious and unapologetic, and don't try to make excuses, explain, defend, and none of that. You need to enjoy your life now. And as you do that, with the perception, seeing how you would like it to be, I would like to see, or, what I see, or the way I perceive it, is myself with someone with whom I can share my love and my time and my emotions and intimacy and all of that. You keep that perception alive, create that, and then it will become your experience. But it's such a personal, individual thing that you really can't, sometimes you cannot share, or you should not share, because it's your perception, and everyone has an opinion. Say something to someone, and they will either tell you something about themselves, or they will have an opinion about what you have shared with them. And in this season, They may be critical, they may be opinionated, they may have views, and if it's your kids, they may be overprotective, they may be fearful for you. I have a friend that said to me, because today this whole thing with dating is most of it is online, and this person is they are scared, they are afraid to even think. They said, no, I'm not gonna put myself in a position to meet someone online and then wind up dead. Well, first of all, they wouldn't know. But the point is, imagine that frame of thought. Imagine that. Is that what you think, that your worth, that someone would put that kind of value in your life that has no worth to meet you and then unalive you? That's that's like the low ebb of energy. That's like low energy thinking. No, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of affection. You are worthy of attention. You are worthy of having a person that you can trust, someone that you can uh, have confidence in, someone that you can spend your time and invest your emotions and your love and your affection. You are worthy of all that, and you, again, your perception of you, my friend, is what becomes your reality. Your perception of yourself is what becomes your reality. When I was a little girl, my dad said to me, in a situation, he took me shopping and he said, you deserve it. You deserve a great life. And I think about that all the time. I deserve a great life. I deserve a great life in all situations, in my health, in my mind, in my physical body, my thinking, my I deserve a great life. Why would you not think? And again, don't judge me. Stop. Don't judge me. Don't judge yourself. That's my reality. That is my truth. And the thing is, it's working. There's results in my life: peace, joy, freedom, good relationships, harmony. It's working in my life. Truth that works in my life. And they are my truth. The thing is, because we've been so conditioned by social, cultural, and religious construct, those thoughts, that experience, those thoughts, that teaching is so embedded in your mind that after a while you become one with those thoughts, and you start thinking that, no, that's the way it is. But if you ever question something, the truth, challenge anything, social construct, not it's not just because that's the way we do it, that's the way we've always done it. No, it stops here. You may do it that way now, but not me anymore. I am on a totally different train, and so should you, if you want to see the changes during this second half. It's fascinating, but we have really got to pay attention to our perception, the way we view things. And then one of the things that I try not to do, and of course we all do it. We all, I look at TV, and you make judgment on somebody. It's like, oh, I don't like. He's like, what's with that tie? What, that's just life. But you don't judge somebody. You don't judge yourself. You don't blame yourself. You don't, get out of that guilt space. You don't want to have all those thoughts of guilt and condemnation and judgment and shame and blame and all of that. No, that's no way to live. You ought to be able to do the things that you want, and love whoever you want to love, and travel and do things, and enjoy your life in this season. You have to show up differently, bold and confident, distinguished, creative, talented, and just with your own swag, knowing who you are, knowing your worth, knowing your value, what you have to contribute, whether it's to a relationship or whatever setting you're with, whether it's at work, go with a whole new mindset. Yeah, a whole new mindset. Got to change that mindset because we arrive at this season with bags and old thoughts. Reinvent yourself, redesign who you are, recreate who you are. It's not fake. It's just that you're becoming more aware of your power to create because that's what it is. You've got power to create. We say that and we just mouth off these things. Oh yeah, I'm a queen and I don't none of that. None of that. I don't, those are just words. And people would say, oh, queen and queen, that's fine. But I don't use that. I don't call anybody queen unless it's Queen Elizabeth, who is no longer with us. That's just not, no, I am not even my name, but that's the name that was assigned to me, Cynthia Linox. Yeah, you face it. And this way you can walk in the fullness of who you are, your own perception of yourself, your own views, your own position, your own ideas, and be your true, authentic self unapologetically. You don't have to explain to anyone that you change or whatever. Don't send out any notices. None of that. You be who you are and you live your life unapologetically and you live it to the fullest with gusto in this season of vintage charm. And you don't think about anything else and all this stuff about ageism that has nothing. I was pretty kind of amazed or kind of surprised when I because my husband and I, we don't live by numbers. We this is a season, that's a season, and we are in this season and we enjoy the seasons of our lives. We embrace it and we enjoy it, and we have friends and acquaintances and associates of different seasons, and those that are in one season may come to us for some kind of a reference or support, encouragement, inspiration, whatever. So we've got people coming to us at different, that are in different seasons, and vice versa. We may go to someone in another season, or like, how do you see this and how do you see that, if that's what this situation warrants. But just know that your assignment, your assignment, if you have viewed this broadcast, your assignment is to yourself. Your assignment is to respect your own perception and to have a perception of yourself, your life. Inventory all the stuff that you learn back in this first half. You need to inventory that and ask yourself, is this my truth? Are these my truth? And if the perception of what you believe your life should be doesn't line up with that, then it's not your truth, because everything that you've been taught comes from someone else. So you're living on autopilot based on another person's perception. Those that wrote the book and those that deliver the message, it's someone else. It's from outside. You have brought it into your being when you have all that truth on the inside, your intuition that is just yearning to come out, just yearning to come out to set the stage so that you can have the abundant life, the great life that you are created to have. I share this with you with such gusto, but I hear myself as well. And it's so encouraging because it's like a reminder to myself. And oh, I just love it. I'm going to bring this to a close, but I could go on because there's just so much that's bubbling up on the inside of me. I must share one thing before I go. I read this Proverbs the other day, and I've heard it long time ago, and it says, "They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercies." Now, if you think of that, they that observe lying vanities. What are lying vanities? Lying vanities are the things you hear from the outside in, and you shape your life based on that, and you forsake the truth of who you are. Therefore, you don't get the blessings and the fortunes and the goodwill of life because you are observing lying vanities. You are observing information. You're living your life based on information that's external. Instead of following your own intuition, you are observing line vanities, which is you are observing instructions, directions, guidance, teachings, and all that does not come from you. It doesn't emanate from your own intuition. And at this stage of your life, vintage charm, we you've got to do a wash. You've got to do a wash so that you do not forsake your own mercies. They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercies. That means there is a lot of things on the inside: goodwill, well being, health, abundance, finances, good relationships. Forsakes their own it's all on the inside. And you forsake that when you are bringing in external information that does not have anything to do with you. They're not your truth. They're things you've been taught all of your life, and you have held on to it, and now you could use some joy and peace and the freedom to just be yourself and live a great life that you are created to live. I'm going to say ta-ta. I will see you next week, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and we are going to have another session. I may even continue with this thing. Every week I have, because again, I am constantly evolving, and I just love it because I will always, there's no destination in my life. There's just a process of evolving, because destination is when you arrive, when you know it all. And the more I learn, the more I discover how much I need to know. I discover so much. Oh, you don't know this. So I'm discovering. And as I do, I share it with you because I just, what fascinates me is to see people really living a full life and enjoying themselves and, footloose and fancy free. And, because there's just so much suffering and pain and tragedy. There's enough of that to go around, and we celebrate that. Someone has a tragic situation, everybody is thoughts and prayers right away, praying, 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 praying. Look at social media, you see it all over. But if someone has a great opportunity, some kind of an increase or promotion, or fabulous vacation they took, not everyone wants to hear that. People say, it must be nice. Yeah. So when I see that, when I see someone really enjoying their lives and being applauded and so forth, it's like I say, clap for yourself and don't be apologetic. Post what you want on social media. It's your, like on Facebook. There's always this chatter about, I don't like this and I don't like that, and why did it? If Facebook everyone is assigned a page. You can post whatever you want. That is your page. And you don't have to explain why you post this or why you post that. None of that. You don't. It's your page. I'm telling you, Facebook has helped me to mind my own business. Or as I would say, mind your own damn business. Absolutely. And I love it. And because I've become so an expert at scrolling, but not only that, when I see something that I want to put a like or a heart or something, it gives me such joy because you can say, yeah, I can see that, or how cute, or I agree with that, whatever. You just really engage to make people's lives better. If it's something that I don't like, that doesn't resonate with me, then I just scroll. I'm not gonna question somebody's, no, that's, you do that. I can scroll. Doesn't affect me because that's not my truth. That is your truth. So I respect that. Mind my own business and just go on scrolling. Anyway, I'm going to say tata, au revoir, hasta la vista, hasta la próxima semana. Nos vemos. Appreciate you. And we'll see each other. We'll see you again next week.